It was the winter of 2000 when Bank of Ireland Asset Management was having their annual Christmas party. It was a stormy night. The co-workers ended up going to multiple bars in Dublin, Ireland. The party didn't end until around 3 in the morning when Trevor Deely left the party by himself to never be seen again. Welcome back to Crime Cafe. Today's case is going to take us to Dublin, Ireland, where we're going to be following the story of Trevor Deely and his tragic disappearance. So make sure to go grab yourself a cup of coffee and come join me. Trevor Deely was born on August 15, 1978 to Michael and Anne Deely. He had 4 older siblings and he grew up in Nass County, Kildare, in Ireland. Trevor was really into technology and he had studied business at Waterford Institute of Technology, but he ended up dropping out of that after 2 years. He instead finished a computer course and he went on to work in the IT department of the Bank of Ireland. In the summer of 2000, Trevor met a woman that was visiting Dublin, Ireland. She was from Anchorage, Alaska, and she was there to just visit for a couple weeks, and they really hit it off. They enjoyed each other's company. So he had an idea to go visit her in November of that year. His friend Glenn Cullen, he was actually a flight attendant who could get discounts or even free flights for friends and family, and he offered Trevor a free flight to go to Anchorage to go visit this girl that he met during the summertime. It is said that he probably wouldn't have went if it wasn't for the free pass to go. So it wasn't anything super serious. He just took the opportunity to go visit that area and to see her again. Trevor's Christmas party was on December 7th, a Thursday of the week, and his coworkers and himself went to have drinks at Copperface Jack's and the Hilton Hotel. They eventually ended up at Buck Whaley's nightclub, and that's located on Lower Lesson Street. Now, Trevor left the nightclub at 3:25 a.m. and he started walking in the direction of his apartment. He lived in the Renner complex. It was a really stormy night and the weather was terrible. It was super windy and really rainy. He did not have an umbrella on him, and at that point the taxi services were actually on strike, so there wasn't any taxis to be had, and at that point Lyft and Uber didn't even exist yet, so he had to walk in this stormy weather. After walking for about 10 minutes, Trevor stops at his workplace. You see Trevor on the security camera talking to a man who is dressed in all black. You cannot see his face, but they do have a discussion. The man seems to inch forward towards Trevor, not in a threatening way, and then they have a discussion briefly, and Trevor uses his key card to enter the bank. This bank is not like the ones that we have in the United States. They do not close at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. They are open 24/7. So when he went up to his office, there was a coworker there. He was on the night shift and he did have a discussion with him. He was in good spirits and everything was normal. Trevor checked his emails and he wrote down some things he needed to do for work the next day. And he left the office around 4:03 in the morning. This time he took an umbrella that he had there and he went in the direction of his apartment. He called his friend Glenn, the one who was the flight attendant, and there was no answer, so he left a voicemail and it said, "Hi Glenn, I've missed you there. Just on my way home, all going good. I'll talk to you tomorrow." Friend actually ended up deleting that message, not knowing that it would be significant later on. At 4:14 a.m., security footage shows Trevor walking past the AIB bank. About 30 seconds after you see Trevor, you can see that same man that was outside the gate of his bank following him. And once again, you can't see any of his features. The Friday day shift started and Trevor didn't show up for work, but no one thought anything of it because they did have a really late night out and there was alcohol involved, and they just thought maybe he was not feeling good or up to coming into work that day. So they let it go. There was nothing suspicious about that. His roommates that he lived with, they were also gone for that weekend. They were staying somewhere else. So they didn't know what was going on through that entire weekend either. So there was no one to check on Trevor or anything like that. It wasn't until Monday morning, when he didn't show up for work, that his office manager got a little concerned, because it wasn't like Trevor to not show up for work or call. So he went around to all the different coworkers to see if any of them heard from Trevor or they reached out to him or anything like that, and they hadn't. So that's when he grew extremely concerned, because no one has seen or spoken to Trevor since the Christmas party. And that is when Darrow Tracy, the office manager, called the police and filed a missing persons report. The police were aware that it wasn't a good sign that no one has saw him for 4 days, and we all know that the first 48 hours are really detrimental to a case. They were pretty concerned about that, and his family and friends immediately went and put up posters and missing person signs all over the city. They even went door to door to see if anyone noticed anything suspicious or saw him. He was 6'3", so he stood out in a crowd, but no one saw him. An informant told the police that Trevor Deely was actually killed the night that he went missing, and he was killed by a gang member who was involved in prostitution and drugs. And what had happened was Trevor was threatened at gunpoint, and he was taken into a house, and that is where the gun accidentally went off. There was no intention on actually killing Trevor, supposedly, but that is where the gun went off. The killer completely panicked, and he ended up dumping Trevor's body in a drain located on the site of Old Lucan Road. After an extensive search, his remains have not been found. So they searched that area and they haven't found anything there. In 2018, a 6-week search at a site in West Dublin had uncovered a gun and drugs, but unfortunately that had nothing to do with Trevor. That's the reason why they were there, and they didn't find anything. They don't believe that the gun was involved in Trevor's case. In 2019, a new witness came forward who corroborated that other story. He said the exact same thing, and this witness is very credible, and they say highly, highly significant. And with the leads, the witnesses, the credible resources, they still to this day have no information on where Trevor Deely is, or where he could be, or what happened to him. On the 20th anniversary of Trevor Deely's disappearance, his sister Michelle pled to the public that she needed to know any information involving her brother. She says that as the years go by, it's getting harder and harder for her family to not know anything that happened to him. She says that it's the easiest thing is to say that he's gone, but that's not what Trevor deserves, and it isn't what he deserves at all. It's also stated that the video footage that the police left out to the public, they didn't release the entirety of the video. So they have a petition going, which I'm going to leave in the description box below if you would like to go sign it. There's over 600 signatures in it as of now, and they really want the police to release the entire video. They are thinking there could be possible evidence in those parts of the video that they left out, and they just want to know everything. I think that is a really important thing to happen, and I know that if I was in that situation, I would want to know everything, and I would want to see every detail pertaining to my brother or a family member, whoever it is, and I think they have the right to see the entire video of what happened during that night. So if you have a moment and feel called to, please sign the petition that I will leave in the description box below. This is an extremely sad case, and if there's anything that we can do to help, why not do it? So let me know how you feel about this case. If you have any suggestions on other cases, please leave them in the comments, or like this one was emailed to me, which I appreciate so much. You can always email them to me as well. And thank you so much for giving me your time. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you can get notified every single time I upload a new video. Bye.